If this is your first time to the channel, welcome to Living in the East Valley, where we talk about everything related to living in the East Valley of the Metro Phoenix area. If this isn't your first time, welcome on back to the channel. My name is Ryan Bagali with eXp Realty, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about what used to be a hidden little gem in the East Valley called Queen Creek. Now, the secret's out, and now that the secret's out, there's some things about Queen Creek that you should know and avoid living here if you can't handle them. With that being said, my wife and my children and I, we all live here. My kids go to school here. We do all of our shopping and errands and everything here. It's a great little town for the most part. It's clean, it's quiet, it's safe, right? But there are some things that we wish were a little bit different and better. So grab yourself a cold beverage, maybe a snack, sit back and relax, get comfortable as we jump into the 7 things you need to know in order to avoid moving to Queen Creek, Arizona. Unless you can handle them, that is.
You want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Starting off our list at number 7 is the amount of residential and commercial construction going on. Queen Creek has seen a massive explosion in population over the past 5 years, where its population has almost doubled. According to investintheqc.com, Queen Creek's current population is just under 80,000 residents, whereas in 2018 it was only about 50,000. In the next 10 years, the population is estimated to grow by a whopping 76%. Back in the day, Queen Creek used to be pretty much all agricultural fields, farms, and ranches as far as the eye could see. For longtime residents, I'm sure it brings a bit of nostalgic sadness to see the landscape changing. And to be honest, it does feel as if that quaint small town feel is kind of fleeting as more and more developments come in. But with all this population growth has come the need for new houses. And I mean lots of new houses. Just take a look at this map. The blue dots are locations of current new home development communities. And with all of this new home development comes the need for new businesses, like grocery stores, shopping centers, entertainment venues, restaurants. All of these things are being built at a feverish pace in order to keep up with the needs of all the added residents. Unfortunately, all of this construction does come at a cost to the residents though. Residents are constantly battling those dreaded orange cone zones. There's lots of heavy equipment vehicle traffic gumming up the streets, making those daily commutes a little longer, more stressful. There is also the inevitable construction debris like gravel causing windshield chips and paint chips on our vehicles, and the ever so fun nail or screw in the tire. Moving on to number 6 on our list, infrastructure is playing catch up in order to support the population increase. Hey, real quick before we get into the rest of the video, this contact information that's popping up right there, that's my cell phone and my email address. If you have a question about Queen Creek or anywhere in the East Valley, thinking about making a move to this area, or you already live here and you just want to know what your house is worth, what the market is doing, I get people reaching out every single day. Shoot me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or down in the description of the video will be a Calendly link where you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom call with me and we can talk about any of those questions or needs that you have. With that being said, let's get back to talking about the 7 things you need to know in order to avoid moving to Queen Creek. As mentioned, with the population increase and all the new construction that comes with it, the infrastructure around Queen Creek has been playing catch up in order to better serve and support its residents' needs. Believe it or not, the Queen Creek Fire and Medical Department was formed only 15 years ago in 2008. Currently, there are 5 fire departments serving Queen Creek. Just a few years ago, in 2020, the City Council made the decision to create the Queen Creek Police Department. And in January of 2022, the QCPD was officially launched. Let me tell you, despite the short history of all the first responder departments, the men and women who make up those departments do an amazing job. Their dedication, professionalism, and commitment to protecting our town is greatly appreciated, and we all thank you. Lastly, on the topic of infrastructure is public transportation. There isn't any in Queen Creek. Not yet anyway. It's a work in progress though. Is a member of the Valley Metro Regional Public Transportation Authority. There are no bus stops in place at the time of this video being filmed, so you'll have to hitch a ride with a friend or grab an Uber, Lyft, or taxi services in order to get into, out of, or around town. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time when making those travel decisions, as the roads and traffic in Queen Creek are a bit of a nightmare, which brings me to reason number 5. There are 4 major roads which run north and south through Queen Creek, and those roads are Power, Sauceman, Ellsworth, and Ironwood/Ganzel. The main road is Ellsworth, which I affectionately refer to as Hellsworth. With the amount of residential and commercial construction that we talked about already, Ellsworth has gotten more and more congested by the day, it seems. And with the addition of all these new subdivisions and businesses going in along Ellsworth, a bunch of additional traffic lights have been installed in order to help with the traffic flow. There are literally 20 traffic lights in the 9-mile stretch between Germain and Empire. It is a stop and go nightmare trying to drive down Ellsworth, especially during the morning and afternoon rush hour times. There's an old saying here in Arizona that goes, developers run the state. The almighty tax dollar, unfortunately, is all too often prioritized over the residents' needs. And it is frustrating that the town of Queen Creek has allowed all of this development to happen without having the proper roads and infrastructure in place first. I could go on and on about this, but suffice it to say, I get it. It's the old chicken and the egg conundrum. We have to have tax revenue to pay for the roads and the utility upgrades, but why not make that a condition of the developer doing the development? Why cram in a bunch of stuff and bottleneck up all the roads and then decide to expand the roads? I don't know, but in the meantime, we as residents are stuck with arduous commutes. Just take the side roads, you might be thinking. Well, that would be a great alternative. However, as you can see here, many of the side roads are also jammed up with projects to install new sewer, water, and other utility lines. And you guessed it, new construction. So those aren't exactly a great alternative. So even though this isn't New York or LA or Houston or Chicago traffic, I get it. We still have our problems here when it comes to getting around in Queen Creek. Speaking of trying to get around here in Queen Creek, that leads us to reason number 4. Reason number 4, Queen Creek is pretty far away from most things. According to investintheqc.com, Queen Creek has some of the highest median income in Maricopa County at around $160,000 per year. But the jobs aren't necessarily located in Queen Creek, so many people have to commute 30+ minutes in order just to get to and from work. Good news, there is an airport near Queen Creek. It's only 5 minutes away. It's the Mesa Gateway Airport. It's only 5 miles from downtown Queen Creek. However, bad news, only Allegiant and Sun Country Airlines fly in and out of it. And they have limited destinations as well as travel days to those destinations. So if you're wanting more flexible flight options, you're gonna have to drive to downtown Phoenix to Sky Harbor International Airport, which is about 35 miles away and can take 45 minutes or longer with traffic to get there. If you're into major sports like I am, it's a bit of a drive from Queen Creek in order to get to those sporting venues. State Farm Stadium, where the Arizona Cardinals play, is almost an hour drive. If you're in the mood for baseball, basketball, or maybe even a concert, the Footprint Center, where the Phoenix Suns play, as well as Chase Field, where the Arizona Diamondbacks play, are both about 40 minutes away. Look, Queen Creek has some great outdoor activity options. Horseback riding, trails, hiking, that kind of thing. However, if you're a person who prefers to be on the water or likes to fish, like myself, Saguaro Lake is going to be the closest option at about a 40-minute drive. Canyon Lake is going to be the next closest at about 50 minutes away. Bartlett and Roosevelt Lakes are 75 and 100 miles away, respectively. And at an over an hour and a half drive to get to either, it makes for quite the trip just to get on the water. If you're wanting, let's say, a more high-end experience when it comes to shopping, you'll need to go to Gilbert, Scottsdale, Tempe, Chandler, as Queen Creek has some basic big box stores and a couple of small boutiques, but that's about it as of right now. Coming in at number 3 on our list is a lack of unique, diverse, and authentic mom and pop style restaurants. If you're like me, and you like to eat, and you aren't from Arizona or from around here, think back to your hometown, and I'm sure there is a particular style of food, signature food dish, or even maybe a handful of restaurants which coincides with that. Here in Queen Creek, the restaurant scene is not super robust. That's not to say there aren't some good places and a couple of local hidden gems. We do have the Queen Creek Festival every Friday night from 5:30 to 9 p.m. featuring a variety of food trucks. But for the most part, it's a lot of franchise or fast food places around town. To be fair, Queen Creek is still a developing town. and it's only been incorporated since 1989. So it hasn't had the time to develop a deep food culture yet. But if you're looking for more options when it comes to authentic, good eats, you're gonna have to drive to other places around the metro area like Chandler, Gilbert, Scottsdale, Tempe in order to find those. Coming in at number 2 is the weather. I mean, what's a video talking about Phoenix if we're not gonna talk about the weather, right? Yes, we live in the desert. It's hot here. I mean, we have 300 days of sunshine every year. I get it. That's half the reason people move to Phoenix, is to enjoy the sunshine. Let me tell you though, it gets hot, really hot. Starting about mid-May until early October, we see 100 degrees plus every day. This past summer was especially hot though, with July setting a record for the hottest month on record by almost 4 degrees. From June to the end of September is the monsoon season out here. Everybody looks forward to it. We love it. Monsoon season usually brings much needed rain and with it some heat relief. But this past season was the driest monsoon season on record since 1924, which made the record high temperatures seem that much worse. So just know it's hot here for like 5 months. Other than that, it's beautiful. But if you're not a fan of the heat or can't handle that type of heat for that long, Queen Creek probably isn't the place for you. And finally on our list is reason number 1. Queen Creek used to be affordable, but not so much anymore. As we've talked about earlier, Queen Creek has seen an explosion of population over the past 5 years. I can speak to this personally as my wife and I bought our current home that we live in back in July of 2022, and we paid about $300,000 more than our neighbors down the street who bought about 5 to 7 years ago. So it's kind of tough. As you can see here, in January of 2020, the average sales price on a home was about $383.5 thousand. Fast forward to September of 2023, and look, the average sales price is now 57% higher at $673.5 thousand. Factored into this affordability issue also are mortgage interest rates. Back in 2020, 2021, and the beginning of 2022, interest rates were a quarter to a third of what today's interest rates are. Families were simply just able to afford a lot more house a few years ago compared to what they can afford today. Now, another contributing factor to the affordability issue is due to the new construction of the higher end acre plus lot, custom neighborhood homes being built all around Queen Creek, which I'll get into more in future videos. The COVID pandemic also caused an urban sprawl of people wanting to get away from the congested cities and into more quiet and open rural spaces, which offered more self-sufficient lifestyle options like having a hobby farm, being able to have animals or gardens. And finally, here in Arizona and in Queen Creek specifically, we experienced an influx of out-of-state, cash-heavy buyers looking to flee pandemic-related restrictions, high taxes, and to pursue job opportunities out here. That ended up driving up home prices as those people from out of state were able to bid way over asking price, making it near impossible for the average Joe to compete with their offer here. So there you have it, the 7 things you need to know in order to avoid moving to Queen Creek, Arizona. Hopefully I haven't scared you too bad. If you're thinking about making a move to Queen Creek, or maybe you already live here and you're like, hey, I can relate to some of that stuff. I feel your pain. Maybe you got questions about the market, like, hey, the housing market has gone up as much as it has. What's my home maybe worth? The information that's popping up right here, that's my phone number, my email. Shoot me a call, shoot me a text, or jump down in the description below in the video and schedule a one-on-one Zoom with me and we can talk about it. Again, I'm Ryan Bagali with eXp Realty. The channel is Living in the East Valley, and as much as I enjoy making this content for you, I would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So reach out anytime, day or night. Have a great day, a great night, great weekend whenever you're watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.